For those of you who were here last week, Dave told you that it was about 10 years ago that Jim and Dave and I first went to Haiti to see what our community might do. And we met Conor shortly thereafter. Jim's father had been involved in the building of the hospital 40 years ago, Jim? Yeah. And so, in a way, it was coming around a circle. But I remember when we met Conor, and Conor had darker hair then. He was a little bit younger and seemed very young to me. And I thought to myself, how does a Middlebury soccer player end up working in Haiti? And he said, well, my name is Conor Shapiro. So I'm Irish and Jewish, the two most long-suffering people in modern history. And so it was only a matter of time before I found Haiti and started this work there. And you've been there how long now?
About 17 years.
17 years. So I'd like you to welcome Conor. He's going to talk about the work, the people, and how we might participate. Conor?
It's amazing that it's already been 10 years since that trip with Jim, Dave, and Max. 10 years ago, we were basically a very small primary care hospital. And over that time, we've grown a tremendous amount. But a lot of that growth, and thank you for choosing that reading today. It was, the Good Samaritan is about as apropos for our work as you can think of. I was very fortunate when I was a little kid, maybe 6 or 7. We went to go visit my great Aunt Anne in upstate New York in a convent. She was Sister Anne to everybody else, but to me she was my Auntie Anne. And we went and visited her, and she was about 85 years old. She was in the convent, and she handed me a children's copy of the Good Samaritan. And I still have that at home, and it's really, always had a large impact on my own life. But I think as we look back over the last 10 years of all the growth that's happened, I think we focus on a lot of numbers. We look at the fact that when we first started out 10 years ago working with you guys, we were this small hospital that would see maybe 40,000, 35,000 patients a year. Now we're around 120, 130,000 patients a year. We've grown from this small, basically, clinic with a few beds to now this hospital that's the second largest in the whole country of Haiti and is the only referral hospital for a little over 2 million people. So the growth has been tremendous, and it's really been because of people like you who've decided that Haiti is our neighbor and that there is a real need to be able to respond to what's going on there. If you look around the church today, there's a number of different pictures up of our work. And some of you have been able to see some of the different videos we have. We were on CBS at the beginning of January on the 10th anniversary of the earthquake. As we look at some of the numbers, we look at, I think more importantly, the individual stories. So at the hospital, currently, we now have over 500 deliveries a month, or 500 deliveries every 30 days. In that time, we now have, in the last 10 years, we've grown into a birthing center and a NICU that rivals the size of teaching hospitals in Boston. We've become this massive center for teaching, this massive center for research, but also a center for, more importantly, I think, delivering care to those who would otherwise go without it. When we look at the picture of this mother with her baby over here on the left, the woman in green, she traveled from a great distance, hours away, to be able to deliver at our hospital. And she had no other choice of where she would go. She would either deliver at home on the floor, like was done before our hospital was in existence, and take her chances as to whether or not there would be an infection that could kill her or the baby, or maybe she has hypertension and had preeclampsia and could have been killed in childbirth, but instead was able to find solace and care and the support she needed at the hospital to have the outcome of this great picture here on the left, of her smiling down at her baby. And you can see, I think, and at least in meeting people at the hospital, some real, just some peace and calm among all the stress of what's going on. I think, and then if we look over at the right, we have more stories and more babies who have been delivered. There's also, I think, a remarkable picture here, right in the middle of the church, of two Haitian doctors, both in our emergency room, which is the largest emergency room in the country of Haiti currently, and really one of only two functional emergency rooms for over 10 million people. It's not okay, but that's what the reality is. And there's a young boy there who's getting care from these two doctors, two Haitian doctors, who are being trained on how to provide care in the hospital. And without that care, this boy would not receive life-saving care. I think, in the Good Samaritan story, sorry for going back to it, but I think if we look at the Good Samaritan story, one of the pieces is a story of around empathy, looking at what it would be like if we placed ourselves in the shoes of others. And I think as we look now, here in 2020, with this new coronavirus outbreak, maybe for the first time in a long time, we've looked at what it's like to be in uncertain times around a disease. What are we going to do in terms of getting treatment? The fact that we can't find treatment, the fact that we don't know what's going on, the fact that we're confused about what the future holds with coronavirus. Unfortunately, this is something that the Haitian people deal with every day on a number of different, in a number of different ways. What are they going to do about childbirth? What are they going to do about neonatal care? What are they going to do about safe surgery? These are things that our patients are confronting all the time. It's not to downplay the importance of thinking about coronavirus here, but I think it may provide, at least I think, some empathy as we look at how Haitian people have to deal with these kind of stresses and strains at all times. It's always difficult, I think, when we sit in Dover, or where I'm from, Concord, and we think about what it would be like to be in Haiti and what it means to have the care that's provided at our hospital. And to realize that without the support that you guys bring, the remarkable support, the incredibly generous support, we just wouldn't be able to do the work. And I think, hi, buddy. I think as we think through what it means to really think of our neighbors in Haiti as if it was ourselves who had to confront not having access to care, not being able to know where we were going to get care from. The fact that everyone here in Dover has already gone through that exercise, or the Dover Church anyway, in terms of your generosity and the support you provide to us, is a real testament to your ability to think through what it would be like from the perspective of our own patients who aren't able to receive the care that they need unless you provide the support that we need to be able to provide the care that we're able to now provide at the hospital. So we've been able to do what we've been able to do over the last 10 years to grow from this small clinic into one of the top hospitals in Haiti, one of the top couple hospitals in Haiti, and the only place for over 2 million people to receive care. But of course, behind all those numbers are people like this mother here with her baby, who are now able to go home and able to live productive lives because of what the kind of support that you've been able to provide. I'll leave you with one last story from the last 10 years that I think has really impacted me as I've thought of it over the last couple months, and one of the things I've seen. So 10 years ago, 2010, we had an earthquake in Haiti that all of you I know are aware of. It may have been the most deadly natural disaster in modern history. In 2010, not that it may have been, it was. And we had hundreds of thousands of people, maybe 300,000 people die within a 1-minute earthquake, 7.0 earthquake, on January 12th, 2010. And just this past January, we commemorated the 10th anniversary. And I was in our town, our rural town of Fond-des-Blancs, to hear different speeches from different people. And one of the people who spoke was Mamai. Mamai, 10 years ago, was hit by falling rubble from the earthquake and was paralyzed, instantly paralyzed. She was 15 years old and was quickly brought to different hospitals around Haiti, couldn't get care, was brought to the Dominican Republic. She was in Port-au-Prince by herself at 15, and her family, which was in a rural, remote region of the country, had not heard any news of her. And somehow she was transported by different people to the Dominican Republic to try and get care. And her family at home actually went to the lengths of preparing her funeral. They started collecting money because they hadn't heard any news of her, and so they assumed that she was dead. She was in fact very much alive, and luckily was able to figure out a way to get back to somebody had figured out that we existed, had gotten us back, got her back to Port-au-Prince, got her transported all the way out, 3.5 hours out, as Max can attest, a difficult ride for anybody, let alone somebody suffering from a spinal cord injury. She finally got out 3.5 hours out to our hospital, and we started the process of recovery. And Mamai gave a speech on January 12th talking about her own experience. She received rehab at the hospital. She received an understanding of how to use her wheelchair. She got psychological, or what we call psychosocial support, so psychological support and support on how to start to maybe go back to work and figure out how to go back to work. And Mamai sat in front of all of us and talked about her baby. She was now sitting in front of the entire community talking about how great everything has been over the last 6 months because she now has a newborn. She's been able to get back into society. Her family didn't have to have that funeral, and she's been able to actually be a productive member of society again. And I think Mamaya's story is really the story of our organization over the last 10 years, an organization that's really tried to do everything we possibly can to make sure that everybody who comes through our doors is able to receive the care they need and deserve. And the fact that you at the Dover Church, who's sitting around here in Dover, have been able to think and be so generous about towards the people in Haiti is really a testament to you. So thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to continuing to work with you. And I look forward to answering any questions you might have at coffee hour afterwards. So thank you all. Thanks for your support.
Some things that are hard to get your mind around is we live in the best healthcare situation probably in the world because we have health insurance, we have a functioning government, our tax dollars help support it. But this hospital depends completely upon the support of donors, like the folks in our church, Kellogg Foundation, other big foundations, to make it possible. They don't have any support, and they are cared for free. Everyone who shows up gets cared for. And just to give you an example, one time we went on a trip and brought Dave and Kip's brother-in-law, who is an Army surgeon. And I think he thought he was just going to go see. But we got through the door, and they found out that he was an oral surgeon. And there happened to be 45 people in the hospital that day who needed a tooth extracted. So while Dave and Jim and I were hanging out and walking around and in the market, he was pulling teeth without anesthesia all day long. And he came back and he said, "Oh, my arm is so tired." But the people were delighted to have their teeth removed regardless of the pain, because it was life and death, having an impacted tooth. We can make all the difference in the world. And the one thing that you have to remember is lots of Carlson doctors have been to Haiti. Tom McElrath has been to Haiti. Outstanding physicians from the Boston area. But the mission of the hospital is to raise up Haitian doctors, Haitian nurses, Haitian ambulance drivers. And it's become a self-sustaining teaching hospital so that they can do it on their own. And these people have jobs and houses, and there's a marketplace in Fontainebleau that's nicer than the other marketplaces in the surrounding areas. And it's all driven by the hospital. And as Connor said, he'd love to have you talk afterwards, and we're going to take an offering later. But if you aren't prepared for that offering, you can always drop it by the church office. Would you open your hymnals and sing with me